because everyone knew the language. Hindi was a language that was strictly confined to the textbooks. I had no exposure to spoken Hindi. I rarely watched Hindi movies. And though I listened to Hindi songs, I listened to them for their tune, for the music. The lyrics and the meaning escaped me. Okay. The only places I had visited outside Kerala was the places that you go for school trips and college trips, like Chennai, Bangalore, Mysore. And the ignorance of the local language while visiting these places in a school trip had never posed a problem because you are always with friends, you have teachers to take care of you. So there was never a problem in communication. The Hindi, I did not know Hindi, had no way to understand it, but that situation changed for the better in the late 80s, towards the end of my college days, because by then TV had become popular and I had started watching Hindi serials. I did not understand the conversation. I watched the serials to watch the performances, the compelling performances. And the serials of late 80s, Hindi Doordarshan, were phenomenal. They were classics. I'm sure most of you, some of you at least, might remember the names Fauji, Bunyad, Nukkad, Lifeline, Air Hostess, Guldasta, Karamchand, Udan, Malgudi Days. How can I forget Malgudi Days? Ta na 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 na. That was the title music of Malgudi Days. Yeah, and by watching these serials regularly, my Hindi started to improve. When I mean improve, I mean that I could understand fairly well the conversations. I still couldn't speak because, as I said earlier, there was never a need to speak. Then came the two serials, the mega blockbusters, the Bahubalis of Hindi serial system, Ramayana and Mahabharata. These two were of a category that I had never seen before. The characters spoke in a style, using a vocabulary that you could never hear outside these two serials. It was a style fun to imitate. And आइए, पधारिए, आसन ग्रहण कीजिए were just, this was just one of the phrases that we would say every day among friends and relatives. It was great fun imitating the ancient, the style of speaking of ancient kings and queens and princes and gurus. So this was the level of my Hindi, spoken Hindi, when I flew to Abu Dhabi in the late 90s to join my husband. For a while, we stayed with my sister-in-law and her family. My husband was a very busy man. Very soon, it became clear to me that my life would become much more easy if I had a UAE driving license. I had an Indian driving license. And in those days, the rule was that if you had an Indian driving license, you could directly apply for the road test. If you cleared the road test, if you did not clear the road test in the first 5 chances, then you had to start fresh by appearing for the test for reverse parking, parallel parking, and hail. My husband, sister-in-law, and brother-in-law, all 3 of them had cleared the test in the second or third chances. And all 3 of them had taken driving lessons from a driving instructor named Yusuf Khan. He was really good. And my family decided that I also should take driving lessons from him. There was one problem though. He did not speak a word of English. I protested. I protested strongly. I wanted someone who knew Malayalam or English. Because learning driving is a more demanding situation than haggling with a street vendor. I needed to know what he was asking me to do. So I protested, but my family brushed aside my protest. They said, look here, look, Annie. There are only two words that might be new to you. One is shisha, meaning mirror. The other is ishara, meaning signal or indicator. Seedha means straight, you know that. All other words are in English. Right, left, U-turn, park, stop, brake, accelerator. What are you worried about? Yusuf Khan is a good instructor, and after all, this is how you learn a new language. You have to expose yourself to such situations. I couldn't think of a proper argument to counter that one. So I agreed grudgingly, half-heartedly, and my classes started. Every morning at 9 a.m., Yusuf Khan would come to pick me up. After 1 hour's class, he would drop me back at home. Within 2 days, I realized that my family was right. I was wrong. Yusuf Khan was a gem of a fellow who preferred to speak in monosyllables if he could. I could understand all of his instructions. There was no problem there was no problem of miscommunication there. I relaxed, and soon meanwhile I had started picking up Hindi words from here and there, and I gained enough confidence to start speaking in him in short sentences as well. So the classes thus progressed. As days passed, the classes progressed happily, and I was happy with my progress in my driving as well as Hindi communication. One day, I wanted to go to a department store. I thought I would ask Yusuf Khan to drop me at the department store instead of dropping me at home. I could come back by taxi after spending 1 or 2 hours there. So the next day when Yusuf Khan came to pick me up, I told him, आज मुझे 10 बजे इस shop जाना है. He understood, he agreed, and we started our class. After 1 hour, he directed me towards the road that led to the shop. I drove inside the parking area, parked the car, turned off, thanked Yusuf Khan, and got out of the car. I walked up the steps, and just before entering the shop, I turned back, and I saw that Yusuf Khan was still waiting there, still sitting in his car. I wondered, why didn't he leave? He had another student to pick up. And then it struck me. I hadn't told him that I wanted to spend some time here, that I would go back by taxi. The poor man was waiting for me to finish my business in the shop so that he could drop me at my home and then go to pick up the next student. I felt so bad, so I ran back to the car and I said in one breath, oh, Yusuf Khan, I'm so sorry I didn't tell you that I need to spend some time here. I will go back by taxi. You have another student to pick up. You can please go. Don't wait for me, please. He looked at me blankly. Then I realized that he did not understand English. My heart sank. I had to say all this in Hindi now. I frantically started searching for the words. And at that moment, as I started translating all this into Hindi in my mind, the long forgotten influence of Ramayana and Mahabharata decided to wake up. And I watched me speaking to him in a way that I had forgotten that I spoke earlier. I said, Yusuf Khan ji, आप मेरी प्रतीक्षा मत कीजिए, मुझे वक्त चाहिए, आप कृपया जाइए. There was a stunned silence. He stared at me. I looked back at him. We did not move. This tableau lasted for perhaps 15 or 20 seconds. Then, without uttering a word, he started the car and drove off. Till now, I don't know if he left because he understood what I said or he left because he did not want me to speak further. It's been 30 years since this incident happened. I still smile when I think of this. I realized that if you learn something and have great fun by learning it, it will stick to your mind. You will never forget it. And also, sometimes I wonder, Do we overemphasize the need for language, the spoken word in communication? I could have easily communicated this without any language to Yusuf Khan. And a conversation I had recently with a friend has confirmed this idea in me. My friend, who speaks only English, Hindi, and Malayalam, had to spend a few days in a remote village in Nepal where the villagers did not speak any other language besides their native language. No English, no Hindi. I asked my friend, "Oh, that must have been very difficult for you without a guide. How did you manage?" And he said, "No, it was not at all difficult. In fact, it went really smooth because I spoke fluently in Malayalam to those Nepalis." Thank you for patiently listening to me.
Thank you so much, Anitha ji, for that engaging tale. It was truly relatable and nostalgic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So moving on to our next storyteller, Shybhra B Thakur, who's joining us from UK. So we have a truly international set of storytellers today. She defines herself as a hardcore community worker who loves to carry her jewelry of confidence and who believes that nothing is impossible. A qualified social worker, having experience of working in challenging situations in India, backed up with experience of working in healthcare sector in Qatar, and a super active community worker. Today, she's sharing a story titled 10% of silver lining against 90% of clouds. Please help me welcome Shybhra. Shybhra, the platform is yours.
A warm good evening to all of you and a lovely namaste. As the title has been already introduced by the host, I will straight away go for my storyline. It was January 2020. I was sitting in my living room. Windows were open. I was having cool breeze and enjoying my cup of herbal tea. Having a beautiful thoughts in mind with a strong positive affirmation to welcome 2020, somewhere in my mind, I was having a thought that we stay in Qatar, we are living in Qatar and parents are back in India. This feeling was often. So we tried for their visit visa, but it was getting rejected again and again. Finally, my husband traveled to India and Baba Ma arrived on arrival visa on 18th of January. 18th of January, a very beautiful and auspicious day. That's our parents' anniversary. Even if they arrived late, we celebrated with full joy in the middle of the night. We, being with parents, has been always a blessing. And our daughter, being under the umbrella of grandparents' guidance, has been always a bonus. We were having really gala time. Parents were supposed to go back after a month on 18th February. But my daughter Gia started insisting them to extend their visit for one more month. You know, grandpa and grandma, they always listen to their grandchildren. So they agreed. And finally, their tickets were booked on 18th of March 2020. And as per Qatar's policy, further, there were no chance for the visa extension. And by March first week, probably all over the world, news of pandemic started spreading. And we were really, really very concerned. Finally, what happened? On all the flights from Qatar got cancelled for indefinite period on the same day our parents were about to travel. Tears in my eyes, I was thinking, Almighty listen my voice, and we were blessed to have a lovely 14 months with our parents. I can vouch, indeed, we were having really amazing time during lockdown, especially my daughter. I working in the healthcare sector was really busy with the work. Morning time, I was going to my office, and second half, I was going to the camp and other community work. And my husband has also been visiting office every day. So my daughter was having a lovely time with them. By March 2021, parents insisted and went back to India. My daughter resumed her school and we all got busy with our daily office and routine, some online, some offline. Everything was going really fine. But with time, I started having a very, very striking observation about my daughter's behavior. It was extreme level of mood swing. Extreme. She was not able to control it. She started getting diverted. She started losing her focus. And a very chirpy child who used to get up early in the morning with full of energy, she started struggling really hard to get up early in the morning. Hence, we decided to take her to the doctor. We took her to the doctor, tests were done, and we got to know her vitamin D was really low. Immediate medication started by October 2021. On the other hand, we all were waiting for a break. So we decided to travel to India by December 2021. And we all traveled to India. We met all our family members, celebrated New Year together. And I wanted to take break for a little longer time, so I decided to stay back for some more time. And my daughter and my husband, they came back to Qatar on the first week of 2022. Father and daughter, they were having lovely, lovely time. And my daughter didn't want to miss the school, so she was enjoying her school. While I was in India, my husband called me one morning. Shybhra, I can see Jia's hair scattered each and every corner of the house. That doesn't sound something normal. Like a concerned dad, he visited the doctor again. This time, along with vitamin D, doctor gave multivitamin for abrupt hair fall. By January end, I came back from India. And I couldn't see any change in my daughter's behavior. Rather, it was aggravating. It was getting worse. I still remember those days when she used to start crying. She was not able to control. I remember how she used to come running, holding her head like this. Mama, this is not your Jia's brain, Mama. It is somebody else's brain. I don't know how and why I start behaving like this. Please do something. Mama, kuch karo. Then I was like, I gave a tight hug to her. Being a very positive person, I gave a tight hug and I said, everything will be fine, Jia. I understood. Intervention is required. We went to the doctor for second opinion. All the tests were rerun. We were called after a few days because certain tests took quite a lot of time. So we were called after 2 days. This time, doctor said, along with vitamin D. Her iron level is very, very low. And her antibodies are abnormally high. She has autoimmune thyroid problem. And generally in such cases, 90% chances are there that the patients might have to take medicines for lifelong and 10% chances to reverse the medical condition. Any parents, when they will listen to this, for a moment will get stressed and tensed. I was also stressed. Adding to my challenges, just after a week, my husband had to travel to UK for 4 months. I started getting prepared to wear many cap of challenges to handle the situation. One fine morning, with tears in my eyes, thinking about our spark, I meditated the whole day. In general, I meditate on a regular basis, but that day I meditated the whole day. And I dusted off all the negative feelings, and a strong determination embedded in my mind. The will of a mother was taking shape with the grit to convert cons into pros. 10% silver line to win over 90% cloud was forming high. I decided to reverse and take the challenges in a very positive way. I started doing all the groundwork. The very first thing, research to take the preventive measures to treat the symptom rather than suppressing the symptom. The second thing, I consulted for the second opinion and consulted a pediatric surgeon in India. The take home was, in such situation, mood swings, it's to the maximum extent. So I understood that it is so important to take care of the fragile emotion. So I started doing it in a very, very nice way. Third thing, consulted naturopathy and Ayurveda and yoga expert. Learned a certain set of yoga along with her. I also intended to be a student with her. Every morning, I was making it sure. From 5:45 to 6:15, I was doing yoga with her. And then immediately I was rushing for the office. Though my office time is from 7 o'clock, but because of the construction in Doha, I was reaching office maybe by 6:25. So I had half an hour that time, cushion time. So after reaching office, I was making sure that she should be happy. From video call, I was calling her and she was having breakfast with me through video call. The fourth thing, a very healthy and natural diet was followed. I would really like to thank my child that she was listening to me and understanding the value of it. The fifth, I don't know how the positive energy started flowing. I could notice my daughter started meditating, kids meditation through app. It used to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes with affirmation. And I was participating with her. And the sixth very important thing, I was never ignoring daily activities. She was doing cycling every day. We were going to park every day. Or maybe for some time also, she enjoys music. We all love dancing. We were doing it time to time. Okay, weekends used to be cheat days. Just after a month or maybe 1 month, 20 days, I started noticing a big change in overall environment and temperament. One fine morning while having breakfast, I just asked her, Jia, do you find any change from the time Mama has done this lifestyle modification? The immediate and prompt answer, Mama, don't you observe? Now again, I have started getting up with full energy and I come back from the back and I hug you every day. Another thing, whenever you were calling me before, I was answering you in a very agitated way. Or maybe I was saying, Mama, I will do it later. But now, when you are calling me, I am saying, Hanji, Mama. So, you know, that I have not taught, I didn't teach her anything. It was a very natural feedback I received from her. Though doctor gave us time to monitor her for 3 months, then only they were thinking of starting the medicine. I took 1 month extra to give 100% from my side. After 4 months, I garnered courage to go to the doctor. I was very little shaky, but very positive. This time things are going to change. All the tests were rerun. After 2 days, doctor called me. I still remember what doctor told me. Maybe it will be all over, it will be with me for a lifetime. He said, ma'am, you did it. I was so surprised. Doctor said that her all parameters are normal. Her antibodies completely normal, which is rare. And he asked me to follow all the healthy habits which you have been following. Maybe you will not have to face it again. I came back home. I hugged her. I hugged my daughter. And internally, I started thanking that invisible power and energy. And I really gave a tight hug to my own self. And I said, Shybhra, you did it. You just did it. I felt, yes, I could alter 10% silver line into 100% rainbow. Well, my today's story is dedicated to one of my friends who is really struggling at the moment. But I want to say, rainbow is just about to come. And at the end, I would like to conclude my story with a quote which has really, really inspired me. It's life is all about management of energy. Where you place your attention is where you place your energy. Thank you.
Thank you, Shybhra. You did it. That was a very, a positive, powerful story, a personal story, and you truly inspired each one of us to turn, challenges into opportunities. Thank you so much. So moving on to our last but not the least story. Our next storyteller is Mr. Anantha B Ramchandran, who's joining us from Doha. He says he's a typical Delhi brought up Tamilian, worked for a decade in Andhra, married a Telugu, living in Doha for the last 2 decades. He's one of the very few chemical engineers from his batch at IIT Delhi who still earns his bread as an engineer and loves doing so. He enjoys outdoor activities, philosophy, business analysis, and there's so much more. a keen observer who believes in Vasudeva Kudumpakam. Today, he's going to share the story titled Back to School. So please help me welcome Mr. Anant. Anant, the platform is all yours.
Thank you, Pratibha.
Thank
Now that the ladies have all taken their turn, I think I can take. So yes, chivalry is not out of fashion yet. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Dhanteras to you all. So how do I look? Look good, right? Thank you. What is it that adds beauty to a man? Is it a good makeup, or is it nicely groomed hair, or a nice branded clothes, or jewelry, or perfume? What is it? Well, this question was answered by the great poet Bhartrhari centuries back. And I quote, Keyuranina bhushayanti punsam haraha na chandrojvalaha na snanam na vilepanam na kusumam na alankrita murdajaha vanyeka samalankaroti punsam ya sanskrita dharyate Khiyante khalu bhushanani satatam satyam vagbhushanam bhushanam. It means that it is not the amulets or the glittering necklaces, neither the scented bath nor sandalwood paste, not even the fragrant flowers, nor any great hairstyles. It is not these that add beauty to a man. It is his speech. A well-constructed and cultured speech is what is the greatest ornament for a human being. All others wean away with time. But yes, truly, Vagbhushanam is Bhushanam. This is what I spoke about 2 years back in November 2020 at the conclusion of a public speaking course held for my school students of class 9 and 11 by my friends online from Qatar. Yes, the kids had spoken so well. They had undergone a course for about 6 to 8 weeks. And all the kids, whether they were introvert or extrovert, they were all cajoled out of their shell and trained to give at least 2 public speeches. Wow. I could not hide the smile in my face, nor the joy in my heart. I was overwhelmed. They were speaking so nicely, confidently. Surely, thanks to my friends, Surya and Anitha and her entire team, of course, including my wife Sharada, for their great efforts. Surely, the ability to articulate one's point of view and present it cogently in public is surely a great asset for a human being. Good, cultured speech is surely the greatest ornament. Well, let's rewind back one more year. Go back in time to 2019, not very, very far, okay? I was having a heart-to-heart chat with a close friend of mine, Chandra, who had by then retired and settled down in Coimbatore. His work in Coimbatore truly inspired me to undertake this new journey. Yes, this journey to connect back with my school after a gap of 35 years. Connect back with my school, connect back with my roots. I contacted my school in early 2020. My school is DTA Mandirma. DTA stands for Delhi Tamil Education Association. It has a long history. We are going to be celebrating our centenary year next year, 2023. Yes, 100 years. I contacted my principal, Madam Jayashree Prasad. Wow, what an amazing lady. It was she who kickstarted this journey of mine. Somewhere around mid-March 2020, the schools had all closed and nobody knew for sure when they are going to reopen, 1st of April or 1st of August. Nothing was clear. We were surely concerned and we wanted to do something. Both Jayashree Madam and I had just then come to know about some app called Zoom, and we were wondering about its features. And we had our first Zoom call together by end March. And about a week later, I just rang her up, just inquiring. And you know what she said? She said, Anant, my colleagues and I have had some more sessions on this Zoom app. And then now we have made some groups for each class. And now we are taking online classes in these for classes 11 and 12. And by Vishu or Baisakhi, that is in another 1 week down the line, we'll be having same classes for 9 and 10 also. I was zapped, amazed. You know why? Just that very same day morning, I had spoken to a friend of mine, my classmate, who was a teacher in a posh school in Delhi. And she said, Anant, we are evaluating a few softwares. We are looking at their costs and how much we should charge the students and so on. And here was my school with the barest minimum of resources. They had rolled out an entire online coaching program, online school program in just hardly 10 days, all by themselves and at zero cost. Hats off to her and her team. Even today, when I'm telling you, I'm getting you goosebumps. Really. Now, it didn't stop there. About 2-3 months down the line, we had one more idea. We said that our school students should interact with some of the best professionals or professionals from different fields. It occurred to me that from my own batch, I could find almost all the representatives of all different professions, whether engineers or doctors, lawyers or journalists, civil servants or scientists, HR or finance, entrepreneurs or even life coaches. We had them all in my own school batch. And you know, all it took was just a one single line WhatsApp message to all of them. And they all enthusiastically joined. Joined not just across the Arabian Sea, but even from across the Atlantic Ocean, from across different time zones. Yeah, that was the kind of response. Just imagine somebody waking up on a Saturday morning to be online at 4 o'clock in the morning for 6 consecutive Saturdays, all the way from Los Angeles, just to be with her school kids in Delhi. That was my amazing friend Shanta. Yes, we had 6 sessions. And children really opened up. And the main message that went across was, cast away all your doubts and hesitations. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. And there's an immense, huge world full of opportunities ahead of you. Don't worry about the present and the past. Well, it didn't stop there. Next year again, my friends from Qatar conducted the public speaking course. And this time, not only for the students, but even for the teachers. And I hope this journey goes on. My journey back to school has really been truly invigorating. The students, of course, are a bundle of energy, and it really rubs on to you too. This journey has not only made me connect again with many of my friends and family all across the world, but has also brought in many, many new friends. And it is all their efforts that has made this journey meaningful to me. In the last 2 years of general darkness all around, the one silver lining was my school, with full of positivity. I thank Mr. Chandra, who has inspired me, my principal, Jayashree Prasad, for having been the catalyst, and my family and my friends here in Qatar, in India, and all around the world, for making this entire journey really beautiful, and looking forward to continuing it. Yes, you should connect to your school, to your college, to your family, to your ancestral village, to your roots. Don't worry what you can do for them or what they can do for you. No, these transactions are secondary. The connect is primary. Just having them as your company, that really makes the journey of your life more fulfilling. I would like to close my session by quoting one wonderful saying, again from our heritage literature. It goes like this: Jadyam dhiyo harati, sinchati vachi satyam, manonnatim dishati, papam apakaroti, chetah prasadayati, dikshutanoti kirti, satsangatihi. That is, good company, that is company of good people. Kathaya, tell me, kim na karoti punsam, what does it not do to a man? Thank you. Happy Dhanteras.
Wow, that was indeed very heartwarming and nostalgic story, Anantha. And thank you for sharing that incredible journey of reconnecting with your alma mater, your roots. We are truly inspired. So thank you. And now it's our turn. It's the turn of our listeners to share this platform and tell us what you thought about this